Hello and welcome to everyone to this episode number 6. I said in the last episode number 5, watch episode number 7, but no, it's episode number 6. This will be the last episode, I hope so, in the series which I am making on why Dr. Ambedkar resigned from his post of law minister. You can go to the previous episodes and listen to all the reasons which he gave. I also gave another important information from the present time, also from his life, also in those videos. This might be the last video, video number 6. I'm Nikhil Sablania from Delhi. I am reading his resignation letter along with explanation, along with anything which is related to those explanation, those resignation. If I repeat all those reasons, it would become this video will become lengthier. So you can go to the other episodes which are link of which are given in the description of this video. So this is episode number 6. Welcome to you. I am reading from volume 14, part 2 of Writings and Speeches of Dr. Ambedkar, his resignation letter. Now, this issue of his resignation, it is another matter. Now, this is on the page number 1323. So, this particular matter, I am making another video on this because this is a very specific matter and very famous matter. There are a lot of texts available on this matter. I think 3 volumes are on this matter. This is a matter of Hindu Code Bill. So, why Dr. Ambedkar resigned? It is said. In brief, I would say that in the previous video, you can go and watch that Dr. Ambedkar was promised by Prime Minister of India that he will give him more portfolios. Dr. Ambedkar was not interested in to become law minister. He wanted to become part of the planning commission. He did not become the part of the planning commission. There was snatching of the portfolios going on. There were the policy makings were going on behind the iron curtains. He was not made part of that. Then there was an issue of backward classes. Their safeguard was not given. The OBCs, their safeguard was not given in the constitution. Then even after giving safeguard to the scheduled castes, their jobs were not given. There were nil jobs were given to them. And then there was an issue of the foreign policies. Even under all those things, even after partition of Pakistan, giving a separate nation to the Muslims, more advantage were given to the Muslim. This was also one of his complaint that despite scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and Indian Christians, these categories is mentioned, and them being in a bad situation, more weightage is given to the Muslims which are uh, better off and stronger and rich and so on. And then another reason was foreign policy, spending of the budget. Over half of the budget out of 350 crore rupee, 170 crore was spent only on defense budget. And he also complained about the more attention is given to the Kashmir and the people of Kashmir, but not to the East Bengal, which became Bangladesh, East Pakistan, and then Bangladesh. So we know that crisis do came over there in 1975 also, in the recent 2024 also, 2025 also, against the Hindus of Bangladesh area, that is East Bengal. That was also one of his complaint. So now we will come to the Hindu Code Bill. I will write some sentences. So he writes in his resignation letter that I will now deal with the matter which has led me finally to come to the decision that I should resign. So it was a final decision. He was fed up of so many things. He was not given portfolio. He was not to be made part of the planning commission, planning department. He was not even made a part of a committee, any committee, even for a temporary purpose. And then there was this whole rucksack of defense budget. The whole budget was going on under the defense, and the whole attention was put on Kashmir. People were poor. They were not given execute jobs. Scheduled castes were not given jobs. No benefit to the backward classes, and that we know that up to 2005, none of the benefit came to them. They were kept out of the policies of the central government. And then he writes that apart from all these things, it was the major reason for him to resign. To resign. It is the treatment which was accorded to the Hindu Code Bill. The treatment which was given to the Hindu Code Bill. The bill was introduced in the House on the 11th of April 1947. After a life of 4 years, it was killed and died and unsung, unwept and unsung. After four clauses of it were passed while it was before the House. It lived by fits and starts. For full 1 year, the government did not feel it necessary to refer it to the Select Committee. It was referred to the House on 12th of August 1948. So it did not come to the Select Committee, introduced on the 11th of April 1947, did not given to the Select Committee, and after almost less than 1 year, on 9th April 1948, it was referred to the Select Committee in 1948 in the month of April. So almost after 1 year. The report was presented to the House on 12th of August 1948. So April to August. Then the motion for the consideration of the report was made by me on 31st August 1948. It was merely for making the motion that the bill was kept on the agenda. The discussion of the year 1949, that is, the discussion of the motion was allowed to take place until the February session of 1947. So almost 2 years have passed since the bill was introduced. Even when it was not allowed, even then it was not allowed to have a continuous day, to have continuous discussion. It was disturbed over 10 months, 4 days in February, and 1 day in March, 2 days in April. So he writes specifically. See, you can see that he writes specifically how much he cared for this bill. After this, 1 day was given to the bill in December 1949, mainly in 19 December, on which day the House adopted by motion that the bill as reported by the Select Committee be taken into consideration. No time was given to the bill in the year 1950. So after 47, now 53rd year has come. Next time the bill came before the House was on 5th February 1951. So 47 to 51, 4 years have passed. When the clause by clause consideration of the bill was taken, only 3 days, 5th, 6th and 7th of February, were given to the bill and left there to rest. So only 3 days were given. Now he writes various things. So here he writes that the bill was put on agenda and was taken up on the 17th September 1951 for further clause by clause consideration. As the discussion was going on, the Prime Minister, that is Mr. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, put forth a new proposal, namely that the bill as a whole may not be got through within the time available, and that it was desirable to get a part of it enacted into law rather than allow the whole of it or to get to waste. So Mr. Nehru came, and rather than passing the whole bill, he tried to disrupt the process to make it into the part. Now he writes, it was great wrench to me, but I agreed. For the proverb says it is better to save a part when the whole is likely to be lost. So he was ready to get it accepted in the parts. The Prime Minister suggested that we should select a marriage and divorce part. The bill in the truncated from went on. After 2 or 3 days of discussion of the bill, the Prime Minister came up with another proposal. This time, proposal was to drop the whole bill, even the marriage and divorce. So then Mr. Nehru said, drop this whole bill. So he writes other lines like other things. This came to me as a shock, as a great shock, a bolt from the blue. I was stunned and could not say anything. I am not prepared to accept that the dropping of this truncated bill was due to want of time. I am sure that the truncated bill was dropped because other and more powerful members of the cabinet wanted precedence for their bills. I am unable to understand how the Benares and Aligarh bills, how the press bills could have been given precedence over the Hindu code, even in its attenuated, attenu- attenuated form. It is now that there was no law on the statute book to govern. Okay, actually, he is writing here. Actually, he complained that there were minor bills. I mean, this Hindu code bill was more important because it concerned the reforms in the Hindu society, and reforms were very much required because unless reforms are made, Hindu society, which is divided among various castes, could not become one, and there were also various ills like divorce, remarriage, child marriage, widow remarriage was prohibited. So these ills uh, were to be dealt with because one of the our reason to become independent and one of our cry, plight and pitch with the British that we will reform our social structure of Hindus. That was one of our pitch for getting the independence. And if we were not doing that, it frustrated Dr. Ambedkar. He writes so many things. So I think one of the reason. Another, this is the last. There are some other reasons, but this is the major reason. Okay, then there is he writes the conduct of the Minister of Parliamentary Affair, who is also the chief whip of the party, in connection with the Hindu code, to say the last, has been most extraordinary. So there was this minister of some Mr. Sinha was there, who was Minister of the Parliamentary Affairs. So he says it was his conduct. So he was bringing hindrance to this bill whenever it was coming for the discussion. He has been the deadliest opponent of the code, has ever been present to aid me by moving a closer motion. This Mr. Sinha. Sinha is from a caste, and we know our first president was also a caste, Rajendra Prasad. So here there is a one caste who was opposing this bill, and of course he was given a guarantee from Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru to oppose. Jawaharlal Nehru was a Brahmin, and caste and Brahmins have a rivalry, and here was Dr. Ambedkar, who was considered as untouchable. How could these two classes of the castes, because they consider themselves as intelligent, castes were basically clerks in the India in the Hindu system, and Brahmins were scholars in the Hindu system. They did not actually want Dr. Ambedkar. And why I mentioned Rajendra Prasad, because in 1952 Jawaharlal Nehru decided to celebrate 2500 years of the birth of Lord Buddha, because it was a great event and it was a good foreign policy. He invited people from all over the world. Dalai Lama came at that time from Tibet as a head of the Tibet. Later on, he took refuge in India when China occupied, but at that Tibet, but at that time Tibet was free. So it was a huge celebration, but it was opposed by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Dr. Rajendra Prasad considered the celebration 2500th celebration of Lord Buddha as something which would go against Hindus. He must be scared about the Buddhism revival of Buddhism. So that thing, these castes, now you can see castes. I'm not saying that all were having same mentality. Even today you see they are also in BJP, also spokesperson of one of the spokesperson, they talk about Hinduism. But in fact, when one of the very famous caste, Vivekanand, he wanted, when he went there to some foreign in America, and he wanted to represent Hindus. So he was opposed by the Hindus being a caste, because according to the Brahmins, castes are Shudra. According to the caste, according to some text, they are not Shudra. They are not of any other one. They are separate. This is their part. But the Buddhists in America, they supported Vivekanand to speak, and then we get the speech of Vivekanand, and then he fought a case, I think, and took that we are not Shudra, but there are some other cases in which they were declared as Shudra by different courts. So now what has happened, that rivalry between Kayas and Brahmins has turned into another, rather than fighting with each other, they have formed a combined and joint force, Hindu force, propagating Hinduism. And that's why I think they were opposing that thing. Uh, they are right or wrong, I am not going to comment in this video, because, but this aspect people must understand. So what happens actually, a person who is a slave, and a slave can't be get rid of. So there are only two possibilities. Either the slave become a friend or a slave become a master, because you can't get rid of him. That's why Kayas have got this position in BJP also, in Congress also. They became friends with Brahmins. So now they are joined together. This is the reason. So he says about him, for days and hours filibustering. Filibustering means to create disturbance in the of passing a bill. For days and hours of filibustering has gone on a single clause, but the chief whip, whose duty it is to economize government time and push on government business, has been systematically absent when the Hindu code has been under consideration in the House. I have never seen, now just listen, I have never seen a case of a chief whip so disloyal to the Prime Minister and a Prime Minister so loyal to a disloyal whip. So, this is what I was talking about. So, he is saying that the whip was disloyal to Prime Minister, but Prime Minister was disloyal to the whip. So, a joint force was formed between Kayas and Brahmins. Nehru and this Mr. Saxena, whatever his name was, Saxena or Sinha, I think it was Mr. Sinha. Notwithstanding this unconstitutional behavior, so he calls his behavior unconstitutional, the chief whip is really a darling of prime ministers. For notwithstanding his disloyalty, he got a promotion in the party organization. It is impossible to carry on in such circumstances. It has been said that the bill had to be dropped because the opposition was strong. Now Congress has been always below the opposition, even today also. I tell you, Congress can never come into the power under present leadership. It could never come into the power if British had not put them in the ministry. It could never form a government in the pre-independent India if they were not favored by the British. Congress doesn't know politics. Congress doesn't connect with common people. They are not secular at all. They never addressed poverty. They never addressed social ills. What they all know is about getting into the power. And you can go and read the book by Dr. Ambedkar, what Congress and Gandhi have done to the untouchables. It's not just about scheduled castes or untouchables. It's not about a one community and the deal of the Congress with one community, but it talks about the politics of the Congress. Like he writes in that book, that when Congress gives ticket to the people of various castes or classes, how Congress operates. He writes that while giving ticket to a Brahmin, and if they have some members of the Brahmin community applying for that ticket, it gave ticket to the best of the Brahmin. Then to give a ticket to the Vaishya, and then they give ticket to the Kshatriya. They choose a person who is not best than that Brahmin, and not even better in the Kshatriya. Then when they give ticket to the Vaishya, they choose a person who is not best, not better, but worst. When they choose, decided to choose giving to other Shudra, they choose, or untouchable, they choose the worst of the person in that section, in from those class of people. So this is how they create a hegemony, a power structure within their party. So top will be a Brahmin and will be the best of the Brahmin, not just worst, not just better, but the best of a Brahmin. But not, this is not followed. So while giving ticket to the other classes of the people or other castes of the people. So that is why they choose the worst people. I mean, it's simple. Then there are many other things you can go and read. I am also highlighting so many things Dr. Ambedkar has written about Congress. Hopefully, I would write a book what Dr. Ambedkar has written about Congress. So I will read some main lines. Otherwise, you can go and read. Anyway, it is like little bit. So it has been said that the bill had to be dropped because the opposition was strong. How strong was opposition? The bill has been decided several times in the party now. So even if they were saying, if the Congress was saying that people were stronger, nowadays people of Congress people say that when Dr. Ambedkar was introducing Hindu code bill, they never talk about their whip, about they never talk about dropping of Hindu code bill by the Congress party, by their their minister of parliamentary affair. They never talk about all these things. What they talk about only about RSS. That is the opposition. Now, what he is saying? He is saying how strong was the opposition? How strong was the opposition? The bill has been discussed several times in the party and was carried to division by the opponents. Every time the opponents were rooted. The last time the bill was taken up in the party meeting, out of 120, only 20 were found to be against it. So even if Congress is complaining that opposition was against it, in reality only 20 out of 120 were against it. So this allegation was also wrong by the Congress party. When the bill was taken in the party for discussion, 44 clauses were passed in about 3.5 hours time. So if there was a strong opposition, so many art clauses, 44 clauses, couldn't be passed in 3.5 hour time. This shows how much opposition there was to the bill within the party. So this was the opposition actually against the bill within the party, means within the Congress. So it was actually Congress who was opposing. And nowadays Congress, what you can listen, you can go to the videos of Ratan Lal, Professor Ratan Lal, I would say specifically. He and there are some other Congress scheduled caste people, and particularly there is a class of Chamar caste from Bihar and some parts of Uttar Pradesh. They have become the propagators of Congress. They give all, how to judge these people. I was one day sitting with someone and I was talking. I was watching the one of the video of Professor Ratan Lal from Delhi University, and I told that guy, you see, it's very hard to catch this person because what he's a magician. He's not a politician. He's a magician. And what a magician does all 99% things right, and he never does one thing wrong. What he does, a magician tricks with that 1%. In Hindi, when we say भ्रमित करना, so he misguides you. So this is what Professor Ratan Lal. I'm sorry if you are watching, sir. I respect you, but this is what you do. Have you ever told about this part of the Congress which I am reading from Dr. Ambedkar's letter? You and there are many other people who talk about that a Shav Yatra, a procession of Dr. Ambedkar's or constitution was carried on by RSS. That means the opposition. Have you ever talked about this line by Dr. Ambedkar that there was more opposition within the party? That means within the Congress. Mr. Nehru was not with him on the Hindu code bill. I am not going with the other parts of his resignation letter. But when you talk about the Hindu Code Bill, and it's your responsibility, you are going to the masses, you are going to the people, and you are going to the people who are the poor of the poorest people of the world, not only of India. And this is your responsibility, not to misguide them, not to dissuade them, not to make them stupid. A whole machinery has been given to Professor Ratan Lal by the Congress party. Mr. Rahul Gandhi says that channels don't come to me. Mr. Rahul Gandhi, these channels were actually implanted by you. Only one or two channels doesn't cover you, but there are hundreds of channels, hundreds of reporters, many big channels. Crores of rupees are spent on Mr. Rahul Gandhi every day. Can we say he represents poor? Any poor person, can he, with very good education, can he come and can he stand against Mr. Rahul Gandhi or Mr. Modi in this our democracy? This is our democracy. This is economicracy. This is capital crazy, I would say. And this is nothing. This is again making fooling of the masses with the media, which you control by money. I'm not against you. Maybe you can change your heart, maybe you can change your mind. But please at least have some. When Mr. Rahul Gandhi talks about Ambani Adani, who made them Ambani Adani? It's Congress party. Who made Tata? Who made Birla? Who made Dalmia? Who made Bajaj? All these people were made by Congress party. This whole system was made by Congress party. BJP just followed its footsteps. It saved Congress. It saved Congress from any revolution or going into the dirt. So please, it's my humble request to the people who are coming forward to tell the truth to the people. Then Dr. Ambedkar writes, this shows how much opposition there was to the bill within the party. In the House itself, there have been division of three clauses of bill, 2, 3 and 4. Every time there has been an overwhelming majority in favor, even on clause 4, which is the soul of the Hindu Code Bill. So he writes that even if Congress is alleging that there was opposition against the bill by the opposition, then how it could be possible that the clause number 4, first he says how it could be possible that out of 120, 100 were in favor of it, and then he says how is it possible that the clause number 4, which is the soul of the Hindu Code Bill, opposition was in favor of it, majority of were. So even the whatever was clause 4, even if it was like seen from the perspective like it would hurt the people, even majority of the people were in favor of it. So how could Congress say that opposition was against it? I was therefore quite unable to accept the Prime Minister's decision to abandon the bill on the ground of time. I have been, so 4 years have been given. Even then Prime Minister Nehru was saying that there was lack of time. I have been obliged to give this elaborate explanation for my resignation because some people have suggested that I am going because of my illness. Now this is another thing. So then when he resigned, Mr. Nehru says, oh, Dr. Ambedkar is having health issues. So on this he says, I am the least man to abandon my duty because of illness. So he says that I am not leaving my duty because of my illness. Then he writes some other things, and he writes that the Hindu code was the greatest social reform measure ever taken by the legislature in the country. No law passed by the Indian legislature is the past or likely to be passed in the future can be compared to it in point of its significance. To leave inequality between the class, between sex and sex, which is the soul of Hindu society, untouched, and to go on passing legislation relating to economic problems is to make a farce of our constitution and to build a place on a dung heap. This is the significance I attach to the Hindu code. It is for its sake that I stayed on, notwithstanding my differences. So, if I have committed a wrong, it is in hope of doing some good. Had I no ground for such a hope of overcoming the obstructionists tactics of opponents, I hope I, I would like in this connection to refer only three of the statements made by Prime Minister on the floor of the House. So on 28th November 1949, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru said, "What is more, the government is committed to the thing that is Hindu Code Bill. It is going through with it." So this is he said on 28th of November 1949. He also says government would proceed with that. So these are the three statements which are given actually Prime Minister. I tell you in short that what first Prime Minister Nehru started with claiming that it's an important bill, but in the later statement in 1949 he said that I do not wish the House to think in the slightest degree that to consider that the Hindu Code Bill is not of importance because we do attach the greatest importance to it. Actually, in the later statements, he was trying to dilute his first statement, trying to dilute the importance, and actually, he was not interested in that because Congress was always interested in politics. In the book, what Congress and Gandhi have done to the untouchable, Dr. Ambedkar writes about an incident of Congress party. Like it had two types of pandals, two types of not two pandals, one single pandal, one single place for political committees, for political conferences, and they used to have a social conference. But Lokmanya Tilak once threatened the Congress that you don't carry this social because this social was actually going against the caste system, against the one system. So Congress was basically party of the Brahmins, and then Vaishyas joined them to protect their business. Congress joined it because they got educated in the English and they were became administrators. Caste also joined them because Caste also learned English from the British and they were also doing jobs. So basically, it was this the major assembly of the people. They wanted their own rights actually. So when the question of social reform was sharing of the country resources, opportunities with the masses, Shudra, Kshatriyas also, and scheduled castes and scheduled tribes also. On this question, they were silent. They were against it. So this is what Dr. Ambedkar was trying to do with the Hindu Code Bill to reform the society. And because they were from the very beginning against it, as I have given you an example of Lokmanya Tilak to threaten to burn that. So this is what the policy of the Congress. Congress has very good words. Like you listen to any leader of the Congress. In Hindi, their Hindi is coming from Allahabad, from where Mr. Nehru is coming, and Congress politicians are like hypnotists with the word mannerism. You will never find any bad word uttered from a Congress leader. They are so much trained in the words, and so they are so much trained in misguiding and hypnotizing the people, making them fool. I think. But we have also leaders in BJP also, in other parties. I would say in other parties also, people are like that. But there's a particular style in each party coming from the major leadership in the past. In Congress, I have learned that they have a very good style of speaking, never utter a wrong word. In Hindi, what we say, "Gol bol baat ghumao," and their talks are full of lies. And as I gave example of a professor, they also put some real examples in those lies, so the lies look real. So I hope you have enjoyed. This was the sixth episode I was making on the resignation of Dr. Ambedkar. I will try to make them in Hindi too. It's very difficult. It's a long talk. Someday I will make it in Hindi and I will upload it. And if you want to read books of Dr. Ambedkar, do call me on 8527533051, 885118817, 84447193116 is my WhatsApp number. You can go to our website nspmart.com. My personal number is 85275333051. It's my advice to Congress party that be real, be man. If you wanted to make a change, then make a change. Forget about your luxuries. And there is has to be limit for greed. And not only Congress, others also. We have seen what has happened to BSP, what's with BJP leaders also. They all are trying to make people. But BJP leaders have a style. They have a very particular style. You can see the style of um, starting from other leaders like the style is coming from Murli Manohar Joshi, the way he speaks, the way Govindacharya speaks, the way Rajnath speaks, the way Pramod Mahajan used to speak. It's the same kind of thing which Mr. Modi and other leaders, new upcoming leaders, even local leaders are. They use very good, very sharp Hindi, Sanskritized Hindi. But I think they don't lie. Whatever they are, they say. Their policies, their other things could be a lie, but what they say, what they are, they say, and that's why we, or they don't say, but they don't make fool much like in their speech. There is a level of straightforwardness, but cleverness is there. Congress hypnotizes, BJP tricks you. They have also same agenda, like same people, top class with Brahmins. So someone was saying on a TV channel, Congress is like higher caste Brahmins, BJP is a lower caste Brahmin leadership. Then Vaishyas are because they have money, they can throw the money whichever party gives them more opportunity. Maybe someone can come. Other parties are also doing this. I am not blaming on only these parties. Actually, everyone from all the parties have to sit and think about that. See, as a human being, you can take benefit from all this system once, but when you say Vasudev Kutum, when you know that you are actually creating problem for the other people, then find the right path. First is to find a right path to reduce the population of India. I always say that reduce it up to 10 crore only, from 145 to 10 crore. What is the path to go to that level? That is our first, that should be our first priority. No one is giving damn about that priority. Then think about our indigenous works, our indigenous businesses. Don't buy things from outside. Don't go too much technical, too much IT, too much machinization. Do things with hands. Don't go for motor operated wagons like cars or buses. Go for bull carts. Go for horse carts. They will save the environment. I mean, look at the real situation. This get away from this bank printing notes, then a bunch of people coming for vultures, I would say, coming for that note. That banking system has to go out, a lot of things to be done for the future. Think about the earth, that our ancestors, the way the planet, the India was what it was like 200 years ago. I think people were better with, they did not have banks or notes in banks. What they had was a beautiful India, a green India, environment free India. So we don't need more hospitals. We don't need more medicines. We need a better environment, a better food, lesser population. Everyone should have a bag, a garden. Each community should have a forest. Think about that and unifying the India, irrespective how to diminish the differences between the people. We are going into a totally destructive and opposite way. We have to come back and think about. Forget about politics. Forget about money. Forget about all those things. This is what I have to say. Those people who wanted to read books of Dr. Ambedkar, please do call me. I think I have given the description. Thank you very much for watching.